It's going down. It's going down, 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 down. It's going
Well, hello, everybody out there. This is Jeff, TrueKnowledge, in the house with a interesting, as always, and entertaining guest panel along with me. I am waiting for my co-host, Cyberneticshark, but I'm going to just rock it solo without him for right now. But we are here on the MCU's Bleeding Edge, live streaming, as we are every other Wednesday evening, to do a Hawkeye Episode 4 review. And we're also going to jump into and do some trailer watch and reactions. I've got some stuff for the panel to check out and kind of get their opinions on and whatnot. Some stuff that's not necessarily Marvel focused, kind of some surprise stuff. And I want to go ahead and introduce the panel for this evening. We've got, for the first time in 3 years, Arch Stanton. What's up, Arch?
What's up, man? It hasn't quite been 3 years, but it's been at least 3 months, and it feels like forever, so it as well be 3 years. Good to see you, buddy.
It's good to have you back, man. It's good to see that welcome face, that face I know. But we also have, from the same exact place, sakaar.freeforums.net, the podcast of champions. We have once again Renee. Good to see you, Renee.
Hi there.
I hope you're doing all right.
I certainly am.
That's good, and I'm glad to have you back on the Bleeding Edge. And, of course, we have Cam from Cam in Focus on YouTube at the Geek News Now Network. How are you, Cam?
Doing all right, man. How is everybody else doing today?
Yay.
We're all smiling, baby. We're all smiling. We're all smiles.
Big smiles, big smiles.
D mega doo-doo. I'm sorry.
That never gets old.
She's smiling. So, you know. Anyways, hey, what do you guys think about my new intro music?
I liked it, man.
Yeah.
It
was pretty good,
it was
right?
some good hype music.
Good change, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured, you know, the whole
It was good.
hard rock. Today's the first day I started playing it. I recorded a couple segments with Cyber earlier today. A couple of like short mini segments, like similar to what Cam's been doing on Cam and Focus. Like mostly for GNN, to tell you the truth. And let me just mention really quick that we are, of course, with Geek News Now Network. I want to shout out to everybody at Geek News Now Network. But yeah, we recorded a couple of segments earlier today, some 10, 15-minute segments. And so I tried it out then. But yeah, I slapped it together this morning, man. And I've got like 2 or 3 other ones that I'm working on too. So I can kind of change things up a little bit, you know? Shout out to Artlist. If you ever need like really good music that you can actually use in your YouTube videos, Artlist is the shit.
I'm glad you're getting creative, man. I like it.
Yeah, hey, listen, I'm learning every day, right? Get a little bit better every day. That's all we can do, right?
That's it.
I'm telling you, man. I think I'm gonna fine Cyber for being this late for the show, man. I'm disappointed. No, I'm just kidding. So Cyber, I guess Cyber will just have to miss out, but I'm gonna start things right off and get right the hell into it by slapping y'all up with some serious The Batman Trailer 2 noise. What's up with that?
Fear is a tool. But when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning. I've been trying to reach you. Find the gun! This is a powder keg, and Rither's the match.
I can take care of myself.
If this continues, it won't be long before you've nothing left.
I don't care what happens to me.
It's only gonna get worse for you.
Whoa, take it easy, sweetheart. Hear everything they say, ain't you?
Maybe we're not so different. Who are you under there?
I'm vengeance. What's black and blue and dead all over? You. Take it.
I got you! I got you!
Okay. Now, who actually has seen that trailer before today? Cam?
I had not.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Renee, you haven't seen it. Arch, I know you haven't seen it.
I hadn't
Uh-oh.
seen it. I didn't even know it was.
I think he has an audio issue.
Arch, your
No.
your mouth is not matching your words, bruh. Just letting you know. It looks like you've got some. Like you ever seen that movie Frozen? Arch. I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can hear me or not, brother.
I got
It looks like you're having some technical difficulties. Either way, can you hear me, Arch?
Yeah, I got you now, man.
Okay, brother. So Arch doesn't watch trailers, so I'm just assuming that he probably hasn't seen the Batman 2 trailer. Maybe he has though. Who knows? Maybe he'll surprise us. So what I want to know is, I'll start with you, Renee, since you for real for sure haven't seen it.
No.
You probably haven't seen the first trailer for it either. What's your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the fact that we have a new Batman?
I think I have seen the first trailer. I haven't seen this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I do like the idea that they're switching up Batman again. It's just been the pattern ever since, I guess, starting with Michael Keaton, and each actor brings and not only just the Batman actors, but then the actors who are playing the various villain characters. They bring their own thing to it, and I think each one has a style. Some more successful than others. I think Robert Pattinson, I think he's going to sort of harken back a little bit, even more down than what Christian Bale was, which is kind of like sandwiched in between Ben Affleck, who's more of a more grounded, sort of, the great man who knows fallen type character. So yeah, just from that, just from seeing both these trailers, I'm looking very forward to it. This I would think would be a movie I would go to the theater and watch.
I would hope so. Cam, what are your thoughts on that trailer?
It's a great trailer, man. You know, it does exactly what it needs to do. It gets me hyped for the film. Right off the bat, you know, the cinematography looks fantastic. The way that the action is filmed, you know, with very wide shots and long takes and stuff like that. It's going to be a very exciting film from an action standpoint, if nothing else. And I like that they're going for, a year two Batman who's still very, gritty and very grungy. Can't quite blur the line between Bruce Wayne and the Dark Knight. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle such a. I guess you could almost say a broken character in that regard.
Sure, I understand where you're coming from. And it looks like, unfortunately, that we lost Arch. Cyber, we had Arch for about 10 minutes, brother, but he's having technical difficulties again. Like the other day when I had him on for a different show. So he doesn't want to, he just said to me and texted me and said he doesn't want to fuck up the show. So he's just going to bounce for now. So it's unfortunate. I think you guys would have really enjoyed him. But hey, we make it work with what we got here on the Bleeding Edge. And we've got a good panel. So Cyber, we're talking about the Batman 2 trailer.
There's a second Batman trailer?
Yeah, Batman 2 trailer. You didn't see it?
I don't recall it. Oh, yeah, they did put out a second one. Never mind. Yes, I have seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So
I thought you meant there was a new one.
No. Oh, hell no. No. I wish that they would have come out with a new one. But so I'll come around to you in just a minute, Cyber. But sticking with you, Cam, what do you think about how do you feel about the new Batman, Robert Pattinson as Batman? Does he work for you?
Well, right away when you hear the word Robert Pattinson, the first thing you think of is Twilight, and it's a really unfortunate situation that he finds himself in, because there's a whole lot of negative stigma that goes along with that. Even though he himself has come out and said on multiple occasions that he hates the Twilight films, he just did it to boost his career, basically. But the thing about Robert Pattinson is he can act, and he is a very good actor. He just needs a good script, and he needs a good director, and he can work magic. I don't know if you guys have seen The Lighthouse, but he was fantastic in that. It looks like he does a pretty good amount of stunt work in this. So he's going to bring that really heavy physicality to the character that I'm really looking forward to. And when you imagine Batman, you think of someone who's going around and beating the crap out of people, and it looks like that's exactly what he's doing. So it's going to be interesting to see his take on the character. Every Batman actor has been different in their own way. And Pattinson's just going to give us a new look at the character, and judging from what I know about him as far as his past performances go, I think he's going to do a good job.
Yeah, I didn't see The Lighthouse. I know, Cyber, you've seen it, haven't you?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it. No.
I heard. Go ahead.
I remember when it came out, and it was on the list to watch, but I never got around to watching it.
Well, I definitely heard about his performance in it. At the very least, Cam, I did hear. I've heard from multiple people, and I've also read articles about how well he did. Supposedly, he's been pretty solid in a couple different films. But same thing to you, Renee. What do you think of the Robert Pattinson Batman? Does it work for you?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I didn't see anything I didn't like in the trailers. Speaking of his act, I have the good fortune of never seeing the Twilight films, so I'm not going to come with that bag.
Consider yourself lucky. I've been forced to sit through them.
I like vampire stories, but I just wasn't really interested in those. Anyway, he is a very good actor. I've seen him in several movies. I think Water for Elephants was another one that came out a couple years ago. Didn't do quite well box office wise, but I thought he did a really good job. The Lighthouse, absolutely. Yeah, I think, like I say, I think like so many of these other actors that are just so top notch that have come to the Batman roles, I think he's gonna perform. I'm not worried about that at all.
So you feel like he you feel like he comes off as Batman in the trailers, like he's legitimate.
Yeah.
Okay. Same thing.
Especially considering that we've already had the Christian Bale who sort of brought that ninja like, because he had the ninja training and all that, and was more street level than what, say, the Ben Affleck or the Michael Keaton Keaton Batman's worth.
Sure. And of course, the fact that the whole concept of this new Batman film is supposedly going to be that it's the second year of Batman. It's Batman year 2, so he's got a year under his belt, and it's supposed to apparently focus more on the detective side of Batman, not just the punch and fight Batman. So, I mean, Cyber, what do you think? You've seen the trailer. You've seen both of them. How is Pattinson as Batman?
Still yet to be determined, in my opinion. I mean, in the trailers, he looks okay. I'm not a big fan of his. I think he's a little overrated. I mean, I have seen some of those films that he's critically acclaimed for, and I think he's okay. I've seen better acting from other actors, I feel. But at the same time, like, I think he's going to be okay. So I have high hopes for him that he's going to do a decent job. I mean, you got a lot to follow from Christian Bale. You have a lot to follow from Michael Keaton, Adam West, all these different people that have portrayed Batman over the years. They all, in their own right, I feel, have been good. I have liked them all. Even Val Kilmer, even George Clooney, I've enjoyed them. I thought they were fun. I know that, Batman and Robin and Batman Forever were very campy. That people consider them horrible films, but I really enjoyed them. I thought they were fun, and I thought that the two actors did a good job of portraying them. So I'm giving Robert Pattinson the benefit of the doubt. From what I saw in the trailers, it looks like he might do a decent job. The biggest reason for seeing this film is because of the other actors that are all the villains of this film. From Colin Farrell as the Penguin to the Riddler, done by the awesome Dan.
Paul Dano.
Paul Dano. Thank you.
Yep.
That man is an awesome actor. From everything I've seen him in, he is freaking fantastic.
Yeah, that was a find for them to grab him to play the Riddler. The Riddler, it really was.
Yeah. So they're really the two reasons why I want to see the film. Plus also the fact that, Keaton is making, supposedly Keaton had made an appearance in it. I've heard, I don't know if that's true. I know he's going to be in the Flash movie, but I have heard that he did make like a cameo in this one too as well. I don't know if that's 100% correct, but that's what I've heard. I'm not a big fan of Zoe Kravitz either, so her Catwoman is not really something I'm really interested in seeing either. But those two, Paul Dano and Colin Farrell, are the reason why I want to see this film. So hopefully it'll be a decent film. I mean, from the trailers, it looks like it's going to be action-packed. So them talking about it being a very detective, version of Batman is going to be interesting to see how much of it is actually detective work and how much of it is actually action, because I feel like Matt Reeves is making it a very action-packed film.
Well, Cam, he sells the action pretty well from what we saw in the trailers. I mean, didn't he? I mean, doesn't he? I mean, he looks good.
It certainly seems that way. Obviously he's not Jackie Chan. There's obviously going to be some, stunt actors involved. But you know what? The biggest thing about filming believable action is making the performance believable. It doesn't matter if they put in a stuntman if your brain still thinks that it's still the character doing it. And from what we saw in the trailer, I think that they're going to accomplish that really well. And as far as the detective aspect of it, I mean, like Cyberneticshark was saying, it's kind of hard to see how they're going to balance the detective side of it versus the action side of it. Obviously the trailer is trying to show you kind of a blend of the two ideas, but with just the way that it's filmed, it has a very film noir kind of style. The only thing that's missing is a detective in an overcoat with a fedora and a pipe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and so I think that with the way that they're looking like they're going to portray the Riddler, and the way it looks like Batman's handling this problem, it looks like they're going to lean a bit more in the detective area. And given the fact that this is Batman Year 2, I think that that's a really good idea, especially, with, knowing that Bruce Wayne and Batman are two very different people. To be kind of metaphorical, they are two very different people. but this is Batman Year 2, so that line hasn't quite been drawn yet. So I think that what they're going for here is going to be a lot darker than we've seen Batman be in the past. And just on that alone, I am very excited to see how far they take the idea.
Okay. Renee, what did you think of the action scenes in the trailer with Pattinson?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're seeing the Batman, the actor in the Batman suit, and that's kind of what you always see. And just kind of like a little aside, I always thought it was funny because they have to put the dark makeup around the eyes and then put the hood on. And then in the scene where they pull the hood off, then they don't have the dark makeup. Just a funny thing that I've always kind of irked me. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it was typical, action. I didn't think it was anything out of the ordinary, what we've already seen, because God knows we've been, pummeled with superhero action for the last 2 decades.
But you didn't think it was maybe a little bit more brutal? Like a little bit more dark?
Yeah, it goes off into where Joker has already gone. I mean, it's not that they haven't gone to these places before. Probably more brutal than what we saw in the Bale Batman series. Yeah, I think they have really taken it down to that. To like I said, I think Joker went there, so they've gotten the license to go there now.
Well, I think a lot of people like it. I mean,
Yeah,
I like graphic violence.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I think it certainly has its place. I don't think they're going to market this as a family film. I think it have an R rating, I'm assuming. So yeah, I mean, it's an adult film, certainly.
Well, they haven't said it yet, but I'm pretty positive it will have an R rating. I would hope it would.
Yeah, with the first trailer that we had, seeing, what is it? The mayor of Gotham, dead with his entire head covered in duct tape.
Yep.
That's not really something you see in a PG-13 crime film.
No, this certainly is not Disney Plus type material, those trailers. I can tell you that right now.
I don't know if any of you have ever seen the movie Sicario.
Yeah, I have.
Directed by Denis Villeneuve. Fantastic film. But seeing the head wrapped up in the tape brought me right back to the opening scene of Sicario, where they raid the drug house and they find all those dead people in the walls with their heads in bags.
With Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? Listen, that's enough Batman talk. Let's jump on to something else. Before we get into our Hawkeye review, I've got something that's maybe you guys may have already saw it. I'm not sure, but I thought it would be fun to talk about.
I love being with people. It's the most incredible thing in the world.
What are you doing? Oh, this is nice.
That world may change and evolve. But the one thing that will never change, we're all part of one big family. That man next to you, he's your brother. That woman over there, she's your sister.
Higher, further, faster, baby.
That's right.
We're all part of one universe.
Wakanda forever!
That moves ever upward and onward to greater glory.
On your left.
Lives. But I'm done running from my past. We have unfinished business.
Who's we?
When you love something, you fight for it. We're the ones who changed everything.
Okay, Renee, did you see that? Did you see that Marvel Studios celebrates the movies deal up until now?
Yeah, I think I have. I watched it a couple weeks ago.
Okay, cool. What are your thoughts on it? What do you think of it?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like they did a little recapitulation of the great moments, and then which I thought was with Stanley over narration. Which I thought very poignant, and of course they showed crowd reaction, how they all had woo. And then rips off into the upcoming films, and now I've already seen 2 of those films, and I'll say it now. I think they were lackluster to what they promised from that promo we just saw. I got high hopes for Spider-Man. I think that's gonna be the one that's gonna start it back up for
You didn't
Marvel.
think Black Widow was any good?
Oh no, I thought they were good. I didn't say they weren't good movies. I just said they didn't give the impact that because we've just come off Endgame, and people in. And we'll just put the TV shows aside. We'll just don't focus on them for that. Just Endgame, and then swing right into Black Widow. But to me, that was an anticlimactic story. I know it was to introduce, to give a little bit more of her backstory and introduce what's the new character that's sort of taking the Black Widow place. I can't think of her name. Anyway,
Scarlett Johansson.
I'm sorry,
ScarJo.
No, no, the actress who's also that we just debuted in the Hawkeye series, her sister, Black Widow's sister.
Yelena Belova.
Yeah. I cannot think of her name. Anyway,
Florence Pugh.
I apologize for that. Anyway, yeah, what I'm saying, I think it was anticlimactic, and Shang-Chi, and like I said, they were both really good films, or I won't say really good films, they were good films. But they just didn't give that kick that you really want to get that going. And I think, what I'm saying, Spider-Man, I think, will be that film.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would agree. Cam, had you seen the Marvel Studios celebrates the movies before up until now?
Yeah, I had. It's always exciting seeing that. I mean, even just watching it, even now, I mean, I still get that overwhelming sense of camaraderie. It's nice to be a part of something like that. I've seen as far as the newer films, I've seen Eternals and I've seen Shang-Chi. Haven't seen Black Widow yet, but I actually just bought it on Blu-ray like last week or 2 weeks ago, so that it's on my list for a little bit later. But I like that. Kind of in contrast to what Renee was saying, I like that coming off of Endgame, a lot of these Marvel stories are starting to bring it down to a bit more human level. Because there's only so many world-ending and universe-ending events that that these people can go through, and don't get me wrong, it's a lot of fun to see, obviously, but especially with something like Hawkeye, it's a very human story, And I think that what draws me personally to Marvel isn't so much watching the spectacle, but the characters. I'm drawn to human drama. I'm drawn to relatable issues that I feel like I could almost insert myself into and understand what's going on in these people's heads rather than just the world's ending. We have to do something about it. You know what I mean?
Yes, I totally do.
Sure.
So Cyber, I know you've seen that before and everything and whatnot, but what are your thoughts on that whole video and the Stan Lee intro and everything?
I mean, I've seen it like a couple times now, and I think it's an okay little montage, of showing, some praise to Stan Lee, having him voice it over, and then, all the montage from the different films, and then showing the newer films that were going to be coming out. I mean, I think it's a decently done, presented, beautiful thing. I don't think it's anything great. I think it's just pretty, basic. I mean, it shows you some simple and basic things, and I mean, the most exciting part was showing us, when the next movies were coming out. So other than that, it's decent. I like hearing Stan Lee talk, and other like when it comes to the end game like thing, where like everyone's like stuff like that. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I was just like when I saw it in theaters, I was like, hell yeah, hell yeah. But I wasn't like screaming, So I was like happy, But to me, it just I feel like it's nothing super fantastic. Like we knew they were all coming back, so it's like yeah, okay, great, yeah, I'm glad they're back. We're gonna kick butt now.
Yeah,
Hey,
I mean,
come on,
to be
man.
honest, that's kind of the reason I'm not going to see Spider-Man on opening night. Because I'm kind of over the hooting and hollering crowds for these movies. To be honest with you, it's a huge pet peeve of mine to be trying to watch a movie and try to listen to the movie over something. And if I'm watching Spider-Man and I'm trying to enjoy the movie, I don't want to hear people going, "Ah, oh shit," next to me every 2 seconds. You know what I mean? That's
Well, hey, Cam. All right. Well, look, I don't know how it is over by you, but in my local theater here, for Eternals, for Venom, I think maybe there might have been like 12 or 15 people in the Eternals when I saw it. Maybe 5 or 6 when I saw Venom 2. Shang-Chi, I think there was me, my date, and like one other couple. And so it was 4 people. And then Black Widow, there might have been 5 people in the theater. So, I already ordered my tickets for Spider-Man. I'm going to see the 10:45 p.m. Show, the last show of the night on what I think is opening night, the 17th. And honestly, man, I guess things must be different over in your area because I don't know. Like, I didn't have a hard time getting my tickets, and I didn't have a hard time picking my seats. And so I'm wondering if it'll even be a full theater when I go.
Well, I was telling you the night that you and I were talking. I'm in Cape Coral, man, and yeah, it's right near Fort Myers. And you know what? Whenever I go to a movie theater, I want to go to like Bell Tower or something like that. And that theater is always packed, bro. Always packed.
Do you have an IMAX?
Yes, actually, there is an IMAX theater in Fort Myers, and that's actually where I went to see Dune.
Oh, you lucky son of a bitch.
God, it was amazing.
Oh my God. I still haven't seen Dune in the theater, but I'm going to go see it. I think probably this weekend I'm going to go see it. Not in IMAX, just in my regular theater. We haven't done a Dune review yet. I just keep forgetting about it, but we've got to put that together because I mean, you can't review films like 7 years later, but, so look, I didn't want to make a big deal out of that Marvel Studios celebrates the movies thing. What I really wanted to talk about before we get into the Hawkeye review was this.
We can't see it, but we're all trapped inside these strange repeating loops.
Billions of people just living out their lives, oblivious
But this is the moment for you to show us what is real. I remember this.
So deja vu. And yet it's obviously all wrong. Maybe this isn't the story we think it is.
They taught you good. Made you believe their world was all you deserved. But some part of you knew that was a lie. Some part of you remembered what was real.
It's so easy to forget how much noise the Matrix pumps into your head. Something else makes the same kind of noise. War. What happens to Neo? The most important choice in Neo's life. It's not his to make.
She believed in me. It's my turn to believe in her.
Part of me feels like I have been waiting my whole life for you.
If you want to see Trinity again, fight for her!
I saw this in a dream. My dream ended here.
I still know Kung Fu.
Okay. Second Matrix trailer. Cam, were you able to catch any of that?
Yeah. My browser crashed momentarily, but I was able to hop back in. I only lost about 5 seconds.
Okay, great. So
I was wondering why I moved over.
yeah, you slid over, brother.
I slid over. I'm like, ah.
So Cyber, I mean, shit, man. There's a lot going on in that trailer. What do you think?
Oh my god, I can't wait to see this. I was a huge fan of the 3 originals. I know a lot of people liked the first one the best, and then they thought Reloaded was okay, and then Revolutions was crap. But I think all 3 are fantastic films. I loved all 3 of them, and when they said that they were going to be making a 4th one, I was ecstatic. I can't wait to see this. I love Keanu Reeves. I think he's so freaking amazing. I love Carrie Ann Moss. I like the idea that they're going with there, where they're like basically making some of the characters younger. Like Agent Smith. They have Jonathan Groff playing. They have Abu Dadi that's in Aquaman playing Morpheus as a younger version. They have this whole cool concept, and just from that trailer, I mean, it looks like it's gonna be action packed. It looks like it's gonna give us a whole new take on what the Matrix is all about, and it just looks like it's gonna be super fantastic. I wish that they could have waited this many years to make the first one to have the graphics that they do, that they have now to do for these films. I mean, I think it's just going to be CGI epic. So I can't wait to see it.
Cam, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
I'm definitely gonna see it. I love Keanu Reeves. I love science fiction, action, stuff like that. I never really had a huge connection with the first 3 Matrix films. I didn't see the first one until I think I was 16 or 17, which is at this point is like 12, 13 years ago. And I thought it was good. I thought it was a fun, really interesting action, science fiction film. I thought it was extremely well done. The second 2, I kind of building on what Cyber said, I didn't think were quite as good, but I still thought that they were fun films. And that's about as far as my love for those films go. I just never really had a huge connection with them. But I am going to see it, to continue on with the franchise and to see Keanu Reeves do more fantastic work. And that's about as far as it's going to be.
Are you going to see it in the theater?
Oh yeah, got to support it.
Okay. Did you think the trailer was any good? Was it exciting?
Yeah. A lot of the action looks really innovative. A lot of the visuals are really interesting. If nothing else, even if your knowledge of the Matrix franchise is rudimentary at best, like mine is, I still think it's going to be at the if nothing else, a fun theater experience.
Okay, Renee, what are your thoughts on this new Matrix film and this trailer we just saw?
The trailer, because it brought in enough of the prior movies so that people who aren't familiar with it, there's going to be like a whole, millions of people who probably aren't familiar with it, to get them to go back to watch the other films, which I think they're streaming right now. I do remember the first Matrix. I remember liking it a whole lot. I cannot remember if I watched the second two. I think I may have watched the second one, but if I did, I guess it didn't impress me. I am going to go back and rewatch all three movies, though, at this point, because I want to see this fourth one, because not only is it going to update, and bring in what was going on in our society, because that was, a controversial film. And, of course, the term red pill or blue pill, comes from that. That's sort of become part of our culture. So what they were saying then and what they're saying now, I want to see that commentary, because I think it's going to be a political film. Also, I think Keanu Reeves, I'm looking forward to seeing that. Here's a young guy. He started out as a young guy doing goofy parts, got into this. Was not really, I thought, a really good actor. He was just, a pretty actor, and he had that romantic, that pre-Raphaelite.
He looks bangable if you're a woman.
Yes, absolutely. But over time, he really has learned his craft. And the last few films I've seen him in, non-science fiction, they're just regular. I'm not talking about the John Wick and all that. I'm talking about just regular movies. I thought he's done a really good job. So I'm looking forward to that also.
They did a good job. When you see him with his head shaved and everything, just like in the original Matrix movies, it looks very similar. I definitely noticed that. And Trinity looks really good too. For her age, she's the I forget what is her name, Carrie Ann Moss. She's always been a good-looking woman. I've always liked her. She was in Memento, which is a great film from way back. But I wanted to ask you guys if you had heard anything about this that came out today.
Classic clip.
You like that, Cam? Yeah.
They make it look so believable.
Hey, I made that.
Oh, did you make that?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I'm getting good, man. I get better every day. I'm learning every day. I'm not that guy in the truck that fell out of the ground or whatever. That's not me. But God knows. I hope I don't ever end up in a situation like that. But hey, when you've got Chloe Zhao, the director of the Eternals, operating your emergency services, things get rough at times. Definitely. So, beyond the Matrix 2 trailer, well, actually, I wanted to ask one more thing before we actually moved on to the Hawkeye review. I'll go to you, Cam. Who was asking for another Matrix film? Do you know anybody who was asking for Matrix 4?
Well, the discussions about the Matrix weren't really discussions I was ever really involved in. So my sample size as far as people who might have been asking for this film is relatively small. But I have talked to people who have said that they want another Matrix film, and I'm pretty sure that another Matrix movie was like rumored to be in production like as far back as I think 2014. So even as far back as then, people were kind of like whispering in other people's ears about it, like, hey, do you hear about maybe they're making a new Matrix?
Well, they said we were going to get a Deadwood movie like last year. I'd rather get the Deadwood movie than Matrix.
Yeah, well, they said we were going to get a lot of movies last year, and it didn't quite pan out that well.
They made a Deadwood movie. It's already out.
What?
Yeah.
Since when?
They made it was 2018. It was 2018 when it came out, not 2019 or 2020.
No.
Mm-hmm.
They made a Deadwood movie with all the Deadwood cast and characters and everything from the HBO show.
Correct. It's on HBO Max.
Okay. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen articles like in the last 2 years that have said that they're still in the process of putting together a film for Deadwood.
It's a second one. Not a first one.
Okay. Renee, do you feel like we needed a Matrix 4? I mean, you didn't even see Matrix 2 and 3, so.
Well, no, I wasn't asking for one, but I'm assuming that Bean Counter said, well, Matrix, they made X amount of money, and John Wick made X amount of money, and then they're banking on putting John Wick and the Matrix and Neo together. That's just my opinion. I don't know, just being cynical about it. But yeah, I think that's probably more behind it than the fan base.
Well, when it comes to the movie itself, I'm pretty sure.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Yes, that's probably how it's going to be. Basically, that's what your movie experience is going to be like. Just to be clear.
Yeah, I'm cutting in and out here a little bit.
Are you okay?
Yeah, it's something that I've noticed it on this before. It's something like an ad that'll try to pop in and out, and it'll cut it. And it was like real bad, I think, the last time I was on with you. And I think it's already done it twice now. So I don't know if it's me or you guys.
I've never heard of that. You actually get ads that pop on?
It's some sort of an ad. It'll just sort of like pop in real quick and then pop out, and then you guys will scramble a little bit.
Are you talking about this?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it behaves like that, but then there'll be like images and voices from like an ad.
That's me playing memes.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, that's me. I'm playing memes. You can't see them?
No, if I do, they're not coming through to me. They're kind of breaking up. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It may be I'm on an iPad, so it may have to do with that.
Yeah, that's what that is. Nope. They're not advertisements. It's me playing videos, playing memes and stuff like that.
I got it.
So anyways, enough of Matrix 2 trailer. It is a really cool trailer, though. I will say that. As far as the Hawkeye episode 4 goes, I won't lie to you. I was actually expecting more from the episode than what we got. Individually, like personally, that's where I'm at with it. I mean, I wasn't disappointed necessarily, but I felt like, sorry, that's my dog. I felt like the first, like, I don't know, maybe like 50% or 2/3 of the episode were just kind of like really slow paced and kind of boring. But that's just my take. I mean, and Renee's already said that that she doesn't agree with me. But anyways, so let me go ahead and start with you, Cyber. the opening scene, basically all we really get is like Hawkeye and Kate Bishop sitting there with Jack and Vera Farmiga, Kate Bishop's mom. And that, we get like a pretty decently length scene out of that. What was your take on that whole dialogue between them?
I thought it was interesting. I liked it. I thought it was a good way to start it off, especially with the ending of the last episode. The Ronin sword being, put up to Hawkeye's throat. They're basically talking and discussing what's going on and stuff like that. And you get like this interesting dynamic where, Jack is acting one way and then all of a sudden he's sitting at a dinner table acting like he's all noble again. So I thought that was really interesting. And then, of course, Vera Farmiga's presence in this scene, and how just every episode I feel that she gets more and more devious, and so it just they keep bringing in these little subtle little things she does to make her seem like, oh, is she really good or is she really bad? And when she basically is having Hawkeye leave, escorting him out, and she basically says, oh, stop the investigation, and Hawkeye and Kate haven't said anything about that what they're investigating. How does she know? How she knows that? That right there is like, she seems to be in on something here. And then she secretly calls somebody and says something, and you're just like, So I think that whole scene was really fun. I really found it entertaining. I liked the dialogue between everyone, and I thought it was a really good precursor to what Vera Farmiga really is going to be further down, in the next couple episodes.
Renee, do you feel like with that opening sequence, maybe Kate started to kind of warm up to Jack a little bit?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that was an interesting scene where they're sitting there and Jack and her mother are having that sort of lovey-dovey fun play between them, and she's just sitting there like the typical teenagers who's having to watch her mother make out with her boyfriend, ooh. And so, but she's got a kind of an odd look on her face, and that's a credit to this young actress. I don't really know what's going on with her. I mean, is she sort of warming up to him, or is she catching, or she's, I think maybe she's saying, wait, she wants to tell her mother about this guy. She's putting him off, and maybe she's saying, well, what's my mom doing here? What's her involvement in this whole thing? So maybe that's starting to dawn on her. And at that point, I think she decides she's going to go party down with Hawkeye.
So
but yeah,
Cam,
I'll talk about, if I can go back just real quick.
No, go ahead, Renee. I apologize. Go ahead.
Opening, what I liked about the whole opening, because last week ended with the cliffhanger, with the sword at Hawkeye's throat, and then of course when it opens, we find out it's a ruse, it's a false cliffhanger, which they do sometimes, and then we go into that a more sedate sort of backstory, which I like to say, and there is fill in here, but I think because there was so much action in last week's episode, now it's ready to sort of slow down a little bit and take its time and let us see what's going on with Hawkeye, and we really get in depth with his feelings, I think, in this episode.
Cam, what were your thoughts on that opening sequence that takes up a pretty decent amount of time?
Yeah, it was definitely kind of a detraction from the cliffhanger they left us on with episode 3. I didn't really mind it so much, though. Marvel kind of has a way of just doing that. I like that, when they're all sitting around the table, basically all that Hawkeye says or has to say is just, no, that's not how it is. Nope. Jeremy Renner. I've never really seen Jeremy Renner as like a super, fantastic actor or anything like that. But with the character of Hawkeye, he really nails the exasperated, just ready to retire, just done with everybody's crap kind of character. So props to him for that. when it comes to the scene where Kate Bishop's mother and Jack Duquesne are having like the dance and stuff like that. I don't necessarily think that she's warming up to Jack per se, but I think that she's liking seeing her mother so happy because she wasn't for such a long time. So in that sense, she's kind of getting that feeling of contentment, but obviously she, as we come to find out, Jack is basically the CEO of the tracksuit mafia and all that. So they're introducing a bunch of different angles for a family dynamic story with Hawkeye and his family, with Kate Bishop and her family, with the family of Black Widow. Now that they've brought in Yelena Belova. And it's a very family centric type of show, but that family center is all different directions of very, very serious. So I think that they're really nailing that aspect of the show.
I swear that did not look like Yelena Belova to me, Florence Pugh to me at the end of the episode when you see her with the mask off and everything. It didn't look like her.
It isn't. I mean, I didn't quite think so. I mean, she.
No, no. I'm asking everybody. I mean, did anybody else notice that?
No, she really looked like it to me.
Cyber, did you feel like she looked like Yelena Belova from Black Widow?
I definitely feel she was fitter than she was in Black Widow. I definitely feel that she had a little bit of a different build, but I'm not going to get into that very much. But I'm still going back to my theory that she's not really Belova. She could be somebody else. It could not be. I'm not going to say that it's Natasha. I'm just saying that possibly it could be somebody else wearing her face. So you never know. So that's the reason I feel that it could possibly be why her physical appearance looks a little different, but her face was exactly the same. So I don't know if she got fitter for the role or if she just, they decided to do something different or they have something planned that we're going to eventually see.
Maybe they tried one of these on her.
A hot dog. Okay. Yeah. Maybe tried a hot dog.
Well, you also got to figure on the part of the actress of Florence Pugh. But Black Widow was filmed back in I think 2018. So that was quite a while ago, and so my assumption is that the actress has probably had more time to prepare to come back into this role. You see that with a lot of actors. Their debut as a character, they look a certain way, but then when they come back as the character later, they look a very different way. Like if you look at Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and look at him in his shirtless scene when he wakes up in Xavier's mansion, he looks very different than he does in Wolverine 2. Or no, not Wolverine 2, X-Men 2.
Well, at the end of the day, I know that that's Florence Pugh. I know it is. I know that's Yelena Belova. I get it. I mean, it has to be. But so, anyways, moving on from the initial scene, we then get to, as Cam already mentioned, we get into the part of the film where we start to realize that Jack is tied to the tracksuit mafia. We get a hangout period between Hawkeye and Kate Bishop where they just kind of chill and hang Christmas lights and stuff and kick it or whatever. I didn't feel like anything really tangible or productive really came out of that myself, personally. But I'll kick it to the panel. That section of the episode, I guess you could almost say maybe the second third of it. What was y'all's take on it, Cam?
For me, it's all about building character, and not so much building character, building backstory and stuff of that nature. I touch on this idea in a lot of my Cam and Focus videos. There's an idea called character context, where you take a look at the actions of a character and apply real world logic to what you're seeing. And with Kate Bishop and hanging up the Christmas decorations with Hawkeye and stuff like that, I see that kind of as uh, uh, she's warming up to Hawkeye not so much as a partner figure, but almost like a father figure. And she hasn't had a father figure since, her father was killed in the Battle of New York, and so she hasn't had that kind of person in her life with which she was able to, put up Christmas lights and listen to Christmas carols and stuff like that. Hawkeye coming into her life gives her the opportunity to be able to have that connection with somebody. Just like whenever he was on the phone with his son and he couldn't quite hear what his son was saying, and she was writing the stuff down on the notepad. Just that look in her eyes as she was doing it was there was a lot going on there, because she wasn't just understanding that he loves his son, she was also understanding that she's kind of the cause of him not being able to go home to his son, just like her father wasn't able to come home to her, basically. So there's a lot going on there in terms of character psychology, and that's what I got out of the whole.
And she also discovers that Hawkeye is Ronin, which she didn't know.
That was the character interaction that I was waiting for basically the entire first half of the series. It came across as an appropriately heavy moment. It was given a lot of time to stew and set in. And whenever she gets up to leave and Hawkeye just sits back and has that flashback to his days as Ronin, and whenever Natasha Romanoff died, I thought it was no dialogue, just the visuals. I thought it was an extremely, extremely effective scene.
Well, I thought that it was an interesting parallel in that basically we got the part where Natasha was brought up in conversation, and Kate actually talked about her with Hawkeye, and I feel like Hawkeye feels like he owes Natasha, not just for jumping off that cliff and taking one for the team to get the Infinity Stone in Endgame, but that she kind of like saved him from the depression and murderous spree he was on as Ronin. She saved him and gave him life, brought him back. And what she did, sacrificing herself to get that Infinity Stone, caused his kids and his wife to come back. So Renee, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think you just hit right on it, Jeff. You said you didn't really get a lot from the scene, and yet you just gave us a really heartfelt analysis of it. I would suggest
I can be a contradiction from time to time.
Please go back and rewatch the episode. You may come back feeling differently. But anyway, one little key thing I'll bring out that was in that first sequence, when Hawkeye steals the sword from Jack, because it's sitting there in a corner, and you see the setup. He glances. If you notice, when he goes out that door, Jack purposely he picks up his coffee cup and he averts his eyes the other way, as if he knows Hawkeye is going to take that sword. So I think that's the key thing to remember. Now, getting back into the party scene, I think we had the little fun parts where they're decorating the tree, and she's goofying around on her aunt's poster, and but there's a movie playing on the TV, and it's called "It's a Wonderful Life." So as we get a little bit deeper into the more poignant, the more serious part of Hawkeye bearing his soul a little bit to Kate, we see that movie. We see, and remember that in this particular movie called "It's a Wonderful Life," it's about a man who was taken to an alternate universe by an angel to see a world as it would exist if he had never existed. Now, we're going to start jumping off pretty soon into the multi-universe, where everything's going to get confused. And later down the road, I'll give you my theories on the multi-universe and what I think Marvel and Feige and all these guys are going to try to do. Whether they'll be successful, who knows? But I think that's another key thing to remember. And aside from all that, Jeremy Renner is a really, really good actor. He has that hangdog, that rumpled cheek face that Gene Hackman had, and I think he's a level actor right alongside with Gene Hackman. So just kudos to him.
Well, he's definitely better looking than Gene Hackman. If I had to if I had to make out with a dude or whatever, like I think I'd pick Jeremy Renner over him. But Cyber, um, go connecting off of this whole dialogue that we're having off this scene in this part of the episode. What are your thoughts?
I absolutely love this scene. I love that, Kate brought all that stuff, brought pizza, brought the movies and stuff like that. I love that whole dynamic. I love that they had this kind of like bonding moment, at where Hawkeye basically has frozen daiquiri stuff taped to himself to basically, help with his bruises and stuff like that, his aches and pains. And the Disney, like, you know barrage of films that they showed, Santa Claus and so forth and stuff like that, uh was like a crack up to me, because I was like, oh look, Disney's, showing there's other stuff, you should watch these. And I just thought that was absolutely hilarious. And then that whole sequence was just fun because there were so many great comedic moments there, especially when she's writing on the poster and it's permanent ink, and then she puts the Christmas tree in front of it to cover it up, and stuff like that. It just was a really fun, enjoyable scene. I really liked it, and I liked that it was kind of a slow down pace and period for, like I said, it was just a really good like moment for them to really become more buddies, more pals, to learn about each other. And then they have kind of that serious conversation, him kind of talking about, him
Rose,
going
what
to.
are you doing?
Okay,
Somebody fess up.
it's all good, Cam. It happens. It
No,
happens, man.
sorry about that. My kid's being a pain in the butt.
Hey, listen, man. We love kids on the bleeding edge, man. Even though kids aren't allowed to watch us, we still love them. Just make sure. Oh, go ahead, Cyber.
So basically, all in all, I thought it was just a really great sequence and just really enjoyable. And I liked that they had that dynamic between them with the comedic and then also very serious talking.
So we got Jeff in the comment section, Jeff Bowman, who's a good friend of the Bleeding Edge. Remember Kate's mom called somebody and left a message, wonder if that was Kingpin. You know what? When that happened, I didn't think that was Kingpin, but I do still believe, just like I've mentioned before in past reviews of Hawkeye, that Vera Farmiga's character, Kate Bishop's mom, she's either works for Kingpin or is Madame Mask or something. I think that Kate Bishop's original father that died was in the business. He was in the mob or in
Yes.
in like, crime or something like that.
There was this early in the first sequence of the Battle of New York, I believe right before they get hit, they're talking about selling their townhouse, so apparently they're in financial straits. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, no, I get where you're coming from. And at that point, I don't know what you guys can tell me what your thoughts are. Renee, what did you think of that phone call? I mean, what do you think the deal is with Kate's mom?
Yeah, I mean, the intrigue with her is deepening. I think Deb last week, she talked a bit about it, how something's not right with her. It's just everything's off, and I think Kate Bishop herself is catching on to that. Of course, I mean, she's like you say, she's head of a security company, and she should know all these things. She should know everything about Jack. She doesn't. She's acting foolish with him, but then she's not foolish the other times. So who she's calling? Could be Kingpin. I'll say this. I think there's another level that kind of has always annoyed me with watching the Netflix series versus the MCU. If Thanos has taken away half the universe, why are these people still worrying about laundering money at this point? And why are this is like mundane problems now? Because this guy stole $1 billion. Hell, this other guy, wiped out half the universe. That threat is so much bigger. And why aren't all even the criminal elements, like the people like Kingpin, like the people who are now mid-level evil, because there's a much deeper evil now, are not coming together with the good guys and fighting against this greater evil. So that's what I want to see, and I hope maybe we'll go forward. We'll see some of that.
Cam, you got to get out of here, right, brother?
I do. Unfortunately, I've got a very busy day tomorrow.
Oh, it's totally fine, brother. Hey, thank you very much for coming on. We really appreciate it. We'll see you next time. And
yeah, absolutely.
I hope you and your family have a great night.
Thanks. Well, thank you very much for having me. I had a lot of fun. You guys have a good night, okay?
You too.
Night.
All right, Cam. So, we got Jeff again in the comment section. Also, real quick, and I will shut up. Who do you think the watch belongs to? My guess, Daredevil. Cyber?
That's my guess too. Looking at the watch, it looks a lot like the watch that Matt Murdock has in the Netflix show. If you look at it, the bevel and all that is very looks like very like if you were to touch it, you could feel it type of look. So to me, it looks like it's a Daredevil watch. I feel like it's going to be Daredevil's watch because of Kingpin being such a big pivotal part of Echo and also just of that universe. I think it's all going to tie into the Echo and then Echo into her series, and we'll be seeing because with the recent MCU's of Matt Murdock, aka Charlie Cox, being officially a part of the MCU, I think we'll be seeing him soon. So I think I would agree with Jeff in that I think it's Daredevil's too.
That's right, everybody. We are getting official word from Kevin Feige. We've gotten it that we are going to get Charlie Cox Daredevil in the MCU. No more rumors, no more maybe he'll be in Spider-Man 3, maybe he won't be. He will be in Spider-Man 3. We're going to get a Daredevil.
Well, maybe that's who Kate Bishop's mom's calling.
Nah, I mean, it's possible. Hey, you know what, Renee? At the end of the day, you don't know. You know what I mean? You never know where things could go at this point with where the series is at. They're definitely doing a very good job of keeping everything with Kate Bishop's mom very hush-hush. Like they're giving us little tiny bits and pieces with her to work with. And then I guess probably when we get to like episode 6, we'll get like a real reveal as to like what her whole, situation is, because she's being very naive about a lot of stuff. And like kind of, I mean, look, and one of the original 6 Avengers showed up in her house with her daughter. Like, I mean, so, but, honestly, that leads us, of course, to the part of the episode where I really enjoy it. And I'm sure everybody did. The part where we actually get into Kate Bishop getting into Echo's apartment and that turning into 2 different separate fights, and Hawkeye thinking he's fighting Echo, Kate thinking she's fighting Echo. Then we get the reveal that we've got Yelena Belova or just some Black Widow with a mask and goggles on or whatever, and we get 2 different fights going on. Kate shoots an arrow, comes across halfway, then eventually finds her way over there to the Hawkeye's area. They have kind of a little, a little battle, a little like fight in between each other, and everybody's kind of fighting everybody. Yelena Belova's fighting Echo, and it's kind of everything's kind of all over the place. And Kate ends up getting tossed over the side by Yelena Belova, gets hung up. Hawkeye cuts her loose, lets her go. She persistently runs right up the stairs, comes back to the fight, shoots a sonic blast arrow that incapacitates everybody, Echo takes off, and then really quickly after that, Yelena Belova, after she kind of like waves her finger or whatever at Kate Bishop when Kate's pointing an arrow at her, like kind of shakes her head and says no, and gives her a finger and says no. Kate doesn't, and Yelena Belova jumps off the side of the roof. So what do you think, Renee? What's your take on that whole, the whole scene, the whole deal?
Yeah, I thought it started out very suspenseful. Well, I mean, prior to that, we had the larfers. Remember that little?
Oh yes.
Just mention that just real quick. I think here you got where they're bringing them back into, and maybe down the road where you got just people, just common people, just coming off the street, wanting to help or some way help, in the Avengers type battles. How much that'll be brought into, because here again, I want to bring back the idea that, and it touched on just a little bit with Hawkeye, the trauma, the immense trauma that these people should be feeling, have lost loved ones, thought they were gone forever. 5 years later, they all come back, and then now they're having to deal with that chaos. So I really would like to see MCU bring that real human type situations more to the front, to see what just the people on the street. Hey, yeah, the heroes are great and they're winning all these great battles while everybody else is out on the trying to put their lives back together, And then they go then they go on to the next great episode, and we don't see the damage that's being done by them.
Okay. What did you think of the action scenes?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Going back to the action scenes, getting a little long-winded there. I apologize for that, but yeah, it was well done. Like I said, it goes suspenseful, and then once we get into the action sequences, on the rooftop, is well done, and then the reveal of a Black Widow. The one scene that was just beautiful was where she falls on the zip line and or not zip line, but the whatever it was, and rather than flailing as you would expect, somebody like that would be at the end of a line that is just jerk. She's just sort of floating there. It almost looks like she's in suspension, but of course she's hooked to Hawkeye, and then she falls down through the Christmas lights. And I just thought that was just very sort of a magical moment that entered into what's supposed to be more non-magical, just technical magic type violence.
Sure, I get where you're coming from. Cyber, what are your thoughts?
I thought it was a really well done sequence. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really awesome. I thought the action was done really well. I thought the whole fight sequence was really energetic and very fantastic. I mean, between Hawkeye fighting Yelena and Echo and Kate fighting, I thought that was a really cool concept that they had both of them fighting somebody and just battling each other. And I thought it was interesting how they made Yelena really a badass. They literally she was kicking Hawkeye's ass, and I thought that was kind of interesting that he him being first time Avenger. Yelena's a lot younger. You think he would have more experience, and she just seemed to out battle him the whole time. And I thought that was kind of interesting. And I liked how during the fight, all of a sudden you started seeing things that was alluding to that she's a former Black Widow or is a Black Widow. Like when she charges her zappers, and all of a sudden it goes red, and you're like, oh, this is Yelena finally. We're gonna see her. And then just the whole sequence where Kate comes across on the trip line there and is trying to slide down with her bow, and she gets stuck midway, and then all of a sudden she is able to get down past. And then there's that fall that makes Hawkeye think of when Natasha jumps off in Boromir to sacrifice herself for the Mind Stone, or not Mind Stone, Soul Stone. And you can see he was totally flashing back to that happening in Endgame, and you're just like, wow, that was kind of like a another nostalgic talk back to Endgame. And then him telling her, go, leave, I got this. And then she ends up coming back up on the roof anyways and helping fighting and stuff, and she uses that trick arrow, which was really awesome. And then that reveal was so fun, and it was just like, oh my god, it's Yelena, yes. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really a really great scene and a great way to end the show.
No, I definitely did too.
What color I got my nails done. I got them done in the shade Plan B.
Yes. Oh, sorry about that. That must have been technical difficulties, Cyber. I apologize.
Another meme.
Yes. Yeah. Apparently, the woman in question paints her nails similar to the color of Plan B. I don't know what that is, but that's okay. So, anyways, as far as that whole like large action scene goes, Echo was kind of beating Kate Bishop's ass, wasn't she? I mean, it looked like she was kind of beating her ass. And I'll be honest with you. I mean, you guys can tell me what you think, but I kind of felt like in episode 3, when she was fighting Hawkeye, I don't know if she was like not going full bore, like not going 100% or what, because her like skill, her ability is the same thing as Taskmaster. Like that's what she does. Like, so she can throw down, she can fight. Like, I mean, she's at Daredevil level hand-to-hand combat. And if anybody's seen Daredevil Netflix series, his fighting, I mean, that shit is like ridiculous. It's the best that I've seen in the MCU, I'll be honest with you. I think. Of course, I haven't seen Iron Fist yet on Netflix, so who knows, but so I honestly wonder if she wasn't kind of like taking it easy on Hawkeye or something like that in episode 3, because I think she can fight harder than she did. And I think that it made sense why she dipped out on the fight, because I mean it got kind of complicated there. She wasn't even sure what the hell was going on. And I guess basically where I'm at with it is just that I like seeing Kate kind of step her game up, and it showed that she can, like Cyber said, she definitely looked better fighting one-on-one with her hand-to-hand. She did okay with Yelena Belova hand-to-hand, but I think Yelena is mature enough and adult enough to recognize that Kate's young and probably went easy on her too. So I'll ask you, Renee, what do you think's going on with Echo? Do you think Echo is maybe taking it easy? Like maybe took it easy on Hawkeye in episode 3 a little bit, and maybe she can fight a little harder than she actually has?
Yeah, I think you're on to it. There was the scene earlier where Hawkeye meets up with her henchman, what's his name, in the car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so he's making some overtures to her, trying to figure out what's going on. And so it very well may be that, she's at this point, Hawkeye's not her enemy. I think they're starting to recognize maybe there's a larger enemy here for all of them. And so that may be into it, and then when it gets all 4 of them on the rooftop, then like I say, she just says, well, it's time for her to jump out of it and regroup, retreat and regroup. Yeah, and then Yelena, she like you say, she does the so who knows, maybe she's all that they may all be on the same side, all 3 or all 4 be on the same side, but they don't know it yet. So let's keep watching.
What do you think, Cyber?
I didn't see a difference in her fighting from episode 3 to this episode. I thought she was still fighting the same capacity as she has always. I don't think she was pulling any punches with Hawkeye. I still think that she is still a learner and a beginner. Echo herself, I think they're kind of gonna how the series is going, especially because she's getting her own series. I feel we're gonna see her grow, especially from this to her own show, and that she'd be more at a more mature level by the time she's in her show. So I think that she's still learning her abilities, her Taskmaster abilities and stuff like that. So I didn't really see a big difference in, like I said, in her fighting. And then, with Yelena, I felt she was still fighting at the same level she did as in Black Widow. I didn't think she was pulling in punches. I thought she was, like I said before, she was kicking Hawkeye's ass. You could see that. You could see that she was taking him on full force. So I think that the dynamic they were trying to do is to show a lot of woman power. Is honestly what I think they're trying
You
to
don't think
do.
she took it easy on Kate Bishop a little bit, just because you can tell from looking at her that Kate's young?
No, I don't think so. I think she just happened to not go as they didn't fight as much. I thought because she intervened, Kate did, but I don't think she did enough fighting with her in order to require the fighting level that she was with Hawkeye, because her and Hawkeye were really going at it. Her and Kate Bishop kind of just interacted briefly with each other, so I don't think she went easy. I think she just didn't interact with her very much.
Oh, and we know Renee, we already know that if it went down to it and Kate Bishop went one-on-one with Yelena Belova would take her apart.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When Kate pulls the bow back and has the arrow pointed at her, that's when Yelena breaks it off. She said, "Don't go there. Don't escalate this," because she would have taken her out at that point, because she would have become a threat to her. So at that point, Yelena takes a powder, and then it's left with her and Hawkeye. So yeah, I think definitely, as far as however the battle went, I mean, that's it. I can't judge that one way or the other, really.
If that was Black Widow,
but I think that was the key scene where she didn't take Kate out at that point. She left.
If that was Black Widow with the bow and arrow with that shot, don't you think that she would have taken it?
Well, it depends on the motivation why she's there. I mean, we don't know why Yelena's there to take. Who's she there to take out? Hawkeye, Kingpin. We don't know why she's there yet. So I mean, that's in suspension, at least for me.
Okay.
Well, the end sequence in Black Widow, the post credit scene, shows Julie Louis-Dreyfus' character Val, as she likes to be called, basically showing a picture of Hawkeye, saying, "This is your next target." So we do know that she's there to fight Hawkeye.
To kill Hawkeye.
But she didn't take Hawkeye out either. She left.
Well, she tried to take Hawkeye out, and then things got messy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. She could have taken out Kate and then took out Hawkeye and then took Hawkeye back on. She didn't do that. She left.
Well, she lost her firearm and everything. You know what I mean? Like, and she's kind of a gun person.
Okay.
Like that's how she does her killing.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, no, we'll see. I think that when it all boils down to it, Jeff's right from the comment section that Kate did shoot Echo with an arrow at one point. What kind of arrow was that Kate shot at Echo? Was that a regular arrow that actually went into Echo's shoulder?
Correct.
Okay, and then Echo just broke it off or pulled it out?
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah, okay. So she was actually probably injured a little bit at that point when she took off.
Yes.
The guy from the car with Hawkeye is Kazi. That's what he's called. And he has his whole deal in the comics. But so I guess just to kind of wrap things up with this, final thoughts on the series itself and like where we're going right now with the series. Starting with you, Renee. Where are we at? Where are we at going into episode 5? Like, I mean, where are we going?
Well, Hawkeye says it himself. Things got very serious, and he's done with Kate. He can't protect her any longer, and he's trying to get away from her at this point. So I think that's where it leaves it. So I think, like I say, I think the next 2 episodes, those are going to be the whiz bang kids, and so it's going to bring it all home.
Are we going to see Kingpin in the next episode?
I I hope so. I hope so. I mean, they've certainly put in enough Chekhov guns about it. So I mean, they have to pull the trigger sometime. So yeah, I think so. In some way or form, we might not see him, but maybe we'll hear his voice or something else, or some representative of his will show up. But yeah, I think he will be tied in somehow.
Yeah, that's kind of like what me and Cyber were talking about earlier today. We might not get a full Kingpin like shot in the whole series. We might just get some kind of cameo deal, a voice or something like you said. You know, and they might save him for later, basically. You know, but Cyber, what are your final thoughts on the episode and what we got going into episode 5? What are your thoughts on what we should expect?
Overall, I thought the episode was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really well done. I love that we got our first kind of glimpse of Yelena in the series because we knew she was coming. Like I said, the action sequence at the end was really fantastic, and how it got left off was an interesting take. You know, basically Hawkeye disowning Kate, saying, you know, go your own way, I'm going to go my own way, basically. As for the future for episode 5, I feel that there's so much ground that they're going to cover in the next 2 episodes. So, I mean, I think we're going to see a lot of stuff go down. I definitely think that we will be getting some sort of like idea behind Kingpin. I definitely agree. Either in this episode or the last episode, we'll either get like something like we talked about earlier, a cameo of some sort, or something that will, you know, reference him. I definitely foresee us seeing more of Yelena. I feel we'll get to see probably. You never know. We might get to see Val at some point, maybe in it. We'll get our, you know, basically maybe we'll get more info on what Vera Farmiga, who she's working for, who she called in this episode. And we just have a huge, there's so much ground to cover to really kind of like finish off this little series in the next 2 episodes. So it's going to be a really blast, I feel, and it's going to be a lot of great information that we're going to learn.
Well, let's do a rating. I forgot about that. I wanted to do a rating, so I'll stick with you, Cyber. 1 out of 10 for this episode. What do you got?
9.
Wow. Okay. Renee, what's your rating? 1 to 10.
I'm gonna give it a solid 8. Yeah, I think I'm gonna say it's the best episode of the series so far. You know, I mean, nothing's gonna be perfect. You know, if the day comes, I'll give any type of MCU product a 10. You know, the world will be frozen over, I think. But you know, there's always hope. But yeah, I'll give this one a solid 8, just based on the acting alone, all of the little plot twists and everything. There's, like I say, there's a lot of stuff going on in the episode. I think it would be great to. And another thing, just to add about MCU, that's one wonderful thing. You can go back and look at these movies over again, and then you find something different in that you didn't see the first time. So, you know, a second viewing's worth it. Maybe down the road, you know, when the whole thing's done, you know, just look at the whole thing. You know, what you call it, when you watch them all at one time. Just do it that time.
So, what about Endgame and Infinity War? You wouldn't give them 10s?
Oh, I'd give them 9s. Yeah, I mean, 10 for me, I reserve for the really, like Citizen Kane or Chinatown, those types of movies. You know, I would say I would give Joker 9.5, and that's based on it. Not only is it so well done, but my God, Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, he put in a performance that I would match with Marlon Brando in Streetcar Named Desire. That's how good he was, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and rate the episode a 7.5.
Okay.
Wow, that's higher than I thought you were going to give it.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 7.5. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say 4.
No, I think the Hawkeye series is doing great. I mean, the ratings have been lower and down compared to some of the other Disney Plus series. But and I don't know what the deal is with that, but I think it's going great so far. I'm really happy with it. And honestly, Renee, I wish you could actually see my memes because I've got some great ones.
I'm gonna try next time I'm on with you. I'll do my laptop and hopefully it'll work a little bit better.
Okay. Well, why don't we go ahead and wrap this up tonight, y'all? This is our Hawkeye episode 4 review. Will there be more to talk about with Hawkeye? Of course there will. Next Wednesday evening at the same damn time as always, we'll be after it again, live streaming, talking Hawkeye. So, I mean, we'll be getting after it. I want to go ahead and thank Cam for coming on. I want to say hello and thank Arch for trying to come on. We miss you, Arch. Vincent Van Spock, God bless you, man. We didn't have you tonight because your wife got into a car accident, and I'm glad she's safe. Thank you for reaching out to me and letting me know everything's okay. We hope we wish the best to your wife and your family and everything and whatnot, and we'll hopefully see you soon. And I want to go ahead and thank Renee for coming on again. Renee, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And I want to, of course, thank Cyberneticshark, my good friend, my co-host, for joining me once again. Cyber?
Yes.
You have any final thoughts? You want to do any plugs?
Well, of course. So we just want to thank everyone for watching, of course. Want to thank GNN for making us a part of their network. And, everyone should definitely check them out, too, on Facebook. They're awesome. GNN! And, of course, if you enjoy our content here on The Bleeding Edge, also check out our solo stuff. You can find me and Jeff on Rizzle, of course. I'm under Cyberneticshark. He's under TrueKnowledge or the Conservative Voice on there as well. You can also find me on YouTube and my solo stuff under Cyberneticshark as well. And, definitely check out, some great platforms such as, the Geek Gauntlet, which is a really great GNN service. You could also got the Podcast of Champions. If you haven't checked them out, definitely check them out. They're awesome. That's where Arch comes from. It's a great site. You can also go to their freeform net, which is called Sakaar, which is really fun. You can check that out too as well. So yeah, definitely. If you enjoy our content, definitely check out all our other little cool links and stuff, and check out that content too. We appreciate it if you do, and you guys rock.
Sakaar.freeforums.net is the homeland for the Podcast of Champions. We are still waiting for Renee to make her way onto the Podcast of Champions.
Yes,
on Saturday.
I know. You've been calling me several times. I've
been wondering when you're gonna freaking show up.
My work schedule's wild. I have the most wonderful job in the world. I'm retired, but I work part-time at a senior living facility as a concierge. And I have 2 regular nights, but then I kind of float through the week as people are out or have days off or whatever. So no telling when I can get called in. But I am definitely going to come on the Bleeding Edge as soon as I can.
Oh, of course. You'll be back. And I feel terrible that you can't actually see any of my memes because they're really funny. Like, you're missing out.
I'm sure.
I mean, I can only imagine what you think is going on, but oh yeah, okay, Cyber, make fun of me. Go ahead. But no, Cyber's right. Please go ahead, and we appreciate all of the support that we can ever get from anybody for the Bleeding Edge. We're not trying to be superstars tomorrow. We just want to make good content. We want to compete with the other, creators in our niche, and and start a little trouble once in a while, and make some good friends, and have a good time. And as always, I had a good time tonight.
I did.
It was good to hang out with y'all. And I'm just going to go ahead and shout out to Geek News Now Network. Thank you very much, Damon, David, everybody at GNN. Y'all are good people. We appreciate you. And I'll go ahead and say peace out, y'all.
Peace
Good night.
It's going down. It's going down, 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 down. It's going down, down. down.